What is up guys, my name is Ignace, welcome back to the channel. I'm always on the path to finding the best dividend paying stocks for my dividend portfolio, and to accomplish that I want to check what can be found in various industries. So currently we are looking into consumer staples sector, and for today's dividend comparison I have 3 large names from the packaged foods industry. So the first pick for today's dividend comparison is Kellogg Company, ticker symbol K. On the year to date, the stock is down for 5.5%, though zooming out to 5 years it is a bit up, plus 11.8%. Company's market cap is at $23.11 billion US, and the stock is trading at a dividend yield of 3.5%. So Kellogg is the first name for today's dividend stock comparison, but I've picked 2 packaged foods names to put against it. The second pick is McCormick Company, ticker symbol MKC. On the year to date, the stock is up for 2.4%, and even better zooming out to 5 years, the price had a great run, plus 60.21%. Company's market cap is $22.94 billion US, and it is now trading at a dividend yield of 1.82%. So this is the second pick, and I have one more. This one is Conagra Brands, ticker symbol CAG. On the year to date, the stock is down for 3.43%. Though zooming out to 5 years, it is almost at break-even, plus 0.43%. Now this is the smallest company out of the 3, market cap $17.91 billion, though it is trading at the largest dividend yield of 3.51%. So these 3 will be the names for today's dividend comparison, and to put everything together we'll use Google Sheets. Now I have prepared this table with the ticker symbols already in, and for our dividend comparison, we'll use 5 different metrics: dividend yield, dividend payout ratio, years of consecutive dividend increases, 5-year compound annual dividend growth rate, and the current dividend yield compared to its 5-year average. We'll check the metric under each ticker, add them into the table, and compare them in between. The ticker with the best winning metric gets a point, then we sum the points up, and in the end the stock with the most points will be considered the winner of this dividend comparison. I hope that the rules were clear, and early thumbs up would be very much appreciated, and with that out of the way, let's start. So the first metric we are comparing is the dividend yield. It is calculated by taking the annual dividend per share and dividing it by the share price. Kellogg Company is currently paying an annual dividend of $2.46, so at the price of $67.65 per share, we have a dividend yield of 3.5%. Now McCormick, their dividend is $1.56, so at a stock price of $85.78, we have a dividend yield of 1.82%. And now Conagra, their dividend is $1.32, so at a price per share of $37.58, that is a dividend yield of 3.52%. Second metric we are comparing is the dividend payout ratio. The percentage here suggests what part of company's earnings are being used to pay dividends. So for Kellogg Company, the payout ratio is at 54.86%, which means that they are using just over half of their earnings to pay dividends. Now McCormick, with a dividend payout ratio of 53.66%, so identical to Kellogg's over half of earnings to pay dividends, and then CAG, with a payout ratio of 46.09%, so in this case they use less than half of earnings for dividends. Metric number 3 is the number of years with consecutive dividend increases. So for how many years in a row the company has increased dividends for at least 1 quarter every year. For Kellogg, they have been increasing dividends consistently for the last 18 years. Now McCormick, and they are way better, with 37 years of consecutive dividend increases. And then lastly Conagra, where they only have increased dividends consecutively for the last 3 years. Metric number 4 is the compound annual dividend growth rate. We are interested how much the dividend has been growing, and for the comparison we'll take the 5-year average including the next year's estimate. So for Kellogg, the 5-year compound annual dividend growth rate is at 0.87%. Now McCormick, with a dividend growth rate of 6.01%, and then Conagra, with the highest dividend growth rate of 9.2%. The last metric for today's comparison is the dividend yield compared to its 5-year average. And for that we'll use my dividend investing watch list on Google Sheets. So we are currently in the tab for Kellogg. Here is its dividend yield history for each quarter of the last 5 years. And on average, the stock was trading at a dividend yield of 3.5%. So the worst time to get into the stock was back in 2018, where we saw the dividend yield at exactly 3%, below the 5-year average minus 14.29%. And the best time to get in was in 2019 with a dividend yield of 4.2%, over average for 20%. Though taking the stock right now at a dividend of 3.5%, that is currently right there at the average, wouldn't be winning or losing compared to the last 5 years. So this is the number that we're looking for our comparison. Now let's take McCormick. We have its dividend yield history for each quarter of the last 5 years, and on average the stock was trading at a dividend yield of 1.54%. So the worst time to get into the stock was back in 2020, where we saw the dividend yield at 1.28%, below the 5-year average minus 16.88%, and the best time was in the middle of 2022, with a yield of exactly 2%, higher than average for 29.87%. Though getting into the stock right now at a yield of 1.82%, that is also not so bad. It is higher than the 5-year average for 18.18%. And now let's take Conagra. We have its dividend yield history for each quarter of the last 5 years, and on average it was trading at a dividend yield of 2.75%. So the worst time to get into the stock was back in 2018, with a yield of 1.68%, below the 5-year average minus 38.97%, and best time was in the middle of 2022 at 3.64%, higher than average for 42.23%. Though taking the stock right now at a dividend yield of 3.52%, that is higher than average, quite up there, plus 27.87%. So we have taken all the numbers we were looking for. If you are interested in doing a similar analysis on another dividend-paying stock yourself, you are able to access this watchlist by following the first link at the top of the description. Otherwise, feel free to add a ticker symbol in a comment below, and I'll consider adding that dividend-paying stock into the watchlist myself. Maybe you could share some interesting opportunity available in the market that I'm still missing. So we went through the metrics for all 3 names, the numbers for each are in, and now we can start assigning points. First one goes to Conagra with the largest dividend yield at 3.52%. Again, Conagra with the lowest dividend payout ratio of 46.09%. McCormick gets the first point for 37 years of consecutive dividend increases. A point to Conagra with a 5-year compound annual dividend growth rate of 9.2%. And the last point goes to CAG again, where its current dividend yield is 27.87% higher than its 5-year average. So we have assigned points for each metric, and now we can calculate results. Kellogg Company got 0 points, McCormick 1, and Conagra 4. This means that with 4 points, CAG is considered the winner of this dividend comparison. So we went through those 3 names from the packaged foods industry. Since Conagra had the most best metrics, it could be an interesting addition to my dividend portfolio. Currently I do have 3 names from the staples sector, with Walmart, Tyson Foods, and Kimberly-Clark, so we'll have to consider if it's worth adding a 4th name into the mix. What do you think? Should I be buying CAG right now? Which packaged foods name are you holding? Share your best pick in a comment below. Also, don't forget to support the channel and leave a thumbs up under the video. Last week I made a monthly update on this dividend portfolio, so if you are interested in that or some other dividend paying names, then click on a video that is currently on the screen. And that was it from my side. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing y'all in the next one.